So now let's look at the definition of inverse trig functions after looking at the graphs. So you have to remember that y equals arc sine of x if and only if sine of y equals x. So the domain for sine is between -1 and 1 because it flips. The range is between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. For arc cosine, the domain is the same, right? -1 to 1. And then the range is different. It's between 0 and pi. For this one, y equals arctangent of x. That's if and only if tan of y equals x. So x is -infinity to infinity. And then the range for this one is negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. Here's a couple of homework examples that are given. So use an inverse function to write theta as a function of x. So in this example, we're given theta here at the bottom corner, and we have x and 7. So we know that we can write tangent because we have opposite over adjacent. So tangent of theta equals x over 7. Now we don't know what the angle is, and it wants us to write an inverse function. So we're going to write theta equals, you can write it as tan inverse of x over 7, and then, or you can write it with arctan. So theta equals arctangent of x over 7. So they mean the same thing. So when you're writing inverse functions, you can use either of those. So try out these two examples. We're not trying to solve, we're just trying to write the inverse function. All right, if you try this out, for letter B, that's cosine. You have adjacent over hypotenuse, so cosine of theta equals 3 over x. Or you can say theta equals arc cosine of 3 over x. Or you can write it as cosine inverse of 3x, so they're the same things. And then for letter C, that's just sine of theta, so opposite over hypotenuse. And so you should have gotten arc sine of 4 plus x all over x, and then remember the parentheses.